All right, what's going on, everybody? I have some free agent news. Okay, 3 signings. Before I do that, I want to wish you HHD. You know what that is? Happy Hump Day. Yeah, the day of the hump. Now, interpret that any way you want, but it's Hump Day. So we are approaching the second half of the week. Okay, now I put out a video this morning talking about 2 Yankees, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'd highly encourage you to, because I want to know what you think one way or the other. 2 Yankees that I think have been highly touted prospects, were ranked at the top of their system not that long ago, and they've kind of fallen off, and I think it's their last chance to either make the team or be either traded or DFA'd or whatever, released. And it's a shame. One of them is a highly touted pitcher. It was like number 1 and number 2 in the prospect. The other one was a 5-tool player, and I did not receive the ridiculous Mickey Mantle comparisons that Jason Dominguez receives without any proof of it, but it also creates unfair expectations, I think, too. But with that said, he was a 5-tool player, and he's also kind of fallen off the map, unfortunately. So, but give me your insight now. Load up the comments, okay? And I want to know what you think, because it's a shame. It would have been nice if both these guys, because they contribute in their own way, and they did contribute most recently as 2020 on the pitching side, and sporadically offensively. But the offensive thing, he hasn't been able to catch up with Major League pitching, and he's had strikeout problems. There's a lot of things, despite being a very talented player, that kind of held him back. So it's not necessarily Yankees not giving him enough of a chance kind of thing. It's a lot of things that haven't been improved. So it's unfortunate, but I want to know what you think now. Let's talk about these free agent signings now. 3 of them, 2 of which were indirectly tied or connected to the Yankees. Before I do that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And just a one-time thing is that, and it's a one-time thing hitting the notification bell. That way you don't miss videos if you want to know when they come out. And if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Now, with that said, Tommy Pham was talked about recently as a potential left field option for the Yankees. Now, he's not a righty. I mean, he's not a lefty. He's a righty. He hits righty, throws righty. So that doesn't fit the criteria of the Yankees needing or looking for a left-handed hitting contact hitter for their lineup to balance out a heavily right-handed lineup. So, but been a quality, decent, pretty solid player one way or the other. Now, I had an issue with his slapping a player, on the field over fantasy football. On one hand, I wish it was like somebody like Randy Myers or Kyle Farnsworth, because he would have been laid out probably had he done that. But with that said, the Mets did do their due diligence, and they signed him to a deal today. 1 year, $6 million with incentives that can take it up to about $9 million. So for some outfield depth, and again, he's generally viewed as a well-respected, well-liked teammate. So I'll give him that. So it is what it is, right? So the Mets got Tommy Pham. The other guy tied to the Yankees, who was also not a lefty, he's a righty and a righty, was Adam Duvall. And he signed with the Boston Red Sox on a 1-year deal. And all this is all John Heyman, John Rossi, and they're all on MLBTradeRumors.com. So just so if you want to see them yourself, you can take a look at it, more details. Adam Duvall signed a 1-year, about $7 million deal with the Red Sox with incentives that could take him up to about $10 million. Now, the Red Sox have, with the exception of re-signing Rafael Devers to a massive extension and losing Xander Bogaerts to free agency to the Padres, they haven't done a ton, but they brought in some players. Corey Kluber, one of the boss, that Japanese outfielder, was it Murakami, I think it was, not a bad, Matsutaka Yoshida, right? Yoshida, yeah. Not a bad offseason, but I don't see them getting much better than they were before. But bringing in Adam Duvall gives them another piece. And again, he plays outfield and he plays first base, so he gives them positional versatility, which could help them. I still think they're behind the Blue Jays and the Yankees and potentially behind the Rays as well, but we'll see. The Red Sox generally will have a terrible year, and then they're generally not that terrible the following year. So I do expect some kind of improvement from the Red Sox. And lastly, Brian Anderson. Not a big sexy name, but he's also an outfielder who plays first base too. Signed on a 1-year deal for $3 million with incentives that could take it up to $5 million by the Milwaukee Brewers to give them more positional versatility. And again, I don't know if it gives them a little bit more flexibility in case they move Christian Yelich, who they talked about. They've also talked about putting a couple of pitchers like Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff on the starting pitchers trade market. So we don't know what they're going to do, but the fact is, their inactivity this offseason, this is only the second signing they have done this entire offseason. They also took part of that 3-team trade that sent Sean Murphy to the Braves. So, with the exception of that, I don't think they're any closer to the St. Louis Cardinals. The team that I think is closer is the Chicago Cubs. They had a very, I think, busy and productive offseason with the guys that they brought in, and I think they're not done yet. But I think they've gotten close enough to potentially, put themselves in position to win that National League Central. So kudos to the Cubs for the moves that they've made. They've done a good job. Again, the inactivity of the Milwaukee Brewers shows that I don't know if they know what direction they want to go, whether they want to just sell off a couple pieces and start a massive retooling or rebuilding and build around somebody. Yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know, but those are the 3 guys that were signed. Again, 2 of them were outfield options considered by the Yankees and discussed most recently as this week. Adam Duvall specifically, and Pham most recently as well. Now, with that said, do any of them represent an upgrade over Oswaldo Cabrera? In my opinion, no. And I think Oswaldo Cabrera and then Aaron Hicks and then Estevan Florial, I think they're the 3 guys that are in the position to win the left field job. Now, Oswaldo Cabrera, I think, is the best of the 3, obviously. He had a nice rookie season last year. I do think he'll continue to build. And I've done projections, and I think if he gets about 400, 450 at-bats, he'll probably hit about 20 home runs and be a pretty solid player. I do think he's best positioned for the Ben Zobrist type, the infield and outfield, which, again, with DJ being healthy as well, makes it easier for the Yankees to move Gleyber Torres if they want to do that, to address either left field or address relief pitching. They both expressed the need to and a willingness to improve in both areas. So, again, it's not say, if they kept Gleyber Torres, okay, but this makes it a little bit positionally a little bit easier. And again, Gleyber Torres has more trade value than DJ does. DJ's got 4 more years here. I think he's a better contact hitter than Torres. I think he's just better positioned for this lineup, and this is why, if I'm choosing between keeping Oswaldo Cabrera or keeping Gleyber Torres, I'm keeping Cabrera. So let me know what you think of that. Who would you keep? And again, Hicks, I think they're going to continue to try to move him. They've stressed that. Estevan Florial, I don't know what he's got. I don't know. But that's what I think. And again, but do any of them, is the other question, do any of them represent a massive upgrade that'll get them closer to Houston? No. I'll say it again. No. I like Cabrera, but is he the guy that they need to bring closer? No. The one guy who's an upgrade is the guy that is out there that we've talked about ad nauseum, Bryan Reynolds. But are the Pittsburgh Pirates going to lower their ridiculous asking price? We have no idea. But the fact is, until he's traded or until they say he's off the market, I'm not ruling anything out. Okay? Other people might. I'm not. Okay? And so, again, these are the 3 free agent moves that happened today, or they've been confirmed today. And let me know what you think of my morning video as well. I really curious to know what you think about that. And the current left field situation. Does what we have here, Oswaldo Cabrera, is it enough? Because remember, the offense was the crux in the offseason. The postseason. So they completely abandoned the team for the most part, with the exception of Harrison Bader, who carried the offense. And do we extend him? That's another question being asked. Do we extend them, and when and how much? I think they're going to extend them. It'd be a wise idea to do it now. Maybe the extension start next year. And I know they have concerns with payroll and blah, blah, blah. They've stressed that, and even if people don't care, it doesn't matter. If they say that's what they're going to do, then that's probably what they're going to do. But let me know what you think on this video as well. Okay? Feedback. What are your takes? Would you have taken Pham? Would you have taken Duvall? And again, keep in mind, if you would have taken them, that would have cut into Oswaldo Cabrera's playing time. Would you have done that? That's the other question to be asked. So, the only guy, exactly who I want here is the first choice. Okay, and he is the clear upgrade, and I think that'll bring him closer to Houston. But, other people might feel differently, and that's totally fine, but your opinion matters, so put it in the comments. Okay? And again, happy hump day, and you know what to do if you don't want to miss anything else. Talk to y'all later.